heart that feels the hurt of others, the wounds that heal. It sees the pain in silent eyes and lifts the weary to the skies. A hand extended when none are near, a whispered word to calm the fear, the gentle touch, the warming light that turns the dark into the bright. Compassion's love, mercy's grace, a kindness shown in every place, a heart that listens, a soul that gives. In every act, true love lives. Mercy walks where judgment stands, forgives the wrong with open hands. It mends the broken, gives release, and turns the storm into peace. A second chance, a softened heart, the strength to make a brand new start. Where anger fades and peace begins, mercy steps in and love wins. Compassion's love, mercy's grace, a kindness shown in every place, a heart that listens, a soul that gives. In every act, true love lives. Mercy walks where judgment stands, forgives the wrong with open hands. It mends the broken, gives release, and turns the storm into peace. A second chance, a softened heart, the strength to make a brand new start. Where anger fades and peace begins, mercy steps in and love wins. Compassion's love, mercy's grace, a kindness shown in every place, a heart that listens, a soul that gives. In every act, true love lives. Feeding the hungry, shelter from rain, easing the sorrow, lessening the pain, holding the lonely, standing for truth, offering peace to the lost and grief. Compassion and mercy hand in hand, healing the world where we stand. With every step, let kindness be the gift we give to set hearts free.
Good morning, everyone. I am so glad you're here to support me and this community today. My name is Debbie Little, and I got the privilege to do the message today. A friend of mine, I told a friend of mine that I said, one day I'd like to do a talk. And she, so what did she do? She went right to Reverend Laura. And Reverend Laura sent me an email, and she said, someone, I don't know who, but they said you'd like to do a talk, and I'm going to be gone on the 21st, so, would you be willing to do a talk? So how could I refuse? So I said yes, and I wonder who that person was, Clay T. The Reverend Lord couldn't remember who, but so here I am, and I'm very excited to be here today. That video, I was researching, and I just found it, and I thought how well that set up my message today. How beautiful those words were, compassion and mercy and grace, and extending our hand out. So I thought, that's perfect for today. So when I was also researching, I came upon a quote by Maya Angelou, and she said, that kindness is a transformative power and a wise pursuit, encouraging people to act with compassion to uplift others and bring about a positive change. And I think that positive change is for the receiver and the recipient. In the pursuit to continue to be who you are, to astonish the world with your perfect demeanor. And it's a force against negativity It brings about that positive feeling inside. And I like this. Sometimes we receive that kindness, but we may forget what was said. We may forget what people did for us, but you will never forget how it felt inside. And I think that's it. We can always bring back that feeling up because it impacted us with that kind demeanor that that person gave to us. So I'd like to, and I was thinking about that, I want to take a moment, just a few seconds, a few moments to recall a feeling inside yourselves. If you want to close your eyes or if you just want to sit still. And recall what someone did for you, what someone said to you, or just take that time that they were present for you. So I want you to have that emotion rise up within you and experience that sensation that you felt that one time that someone did something special for you. So take this moment and just kind of close your eyes, and we're just going to go into the silence for a brief moment and see if you can have that emotion. Someone did something kind for you, and feel it throughout your body. Have that feeling and just embody your whole presence, knowing that someone really cared to take the time to be with you, to do something special, to love you, even though maybe they didn't even know you. So just take a moment and feel that sensation within your body. Now open your eyes. Bless that feeling with gratitude. And allow it to continue as a precious memory stored deep within you that you can bring up at any moment and any time that you might feel a challenge in your life or fear or doubt. To offer kindness in this world, sometimes it can be a cold and dismissive place where people walk by you, not looking at you. But kindness is an act of bravery. It comes with courage. It's your inner strength. It's not a weakness. Do not take my kindness for a weakness. Take it as courage and bravery, because I am willing to step out of my own comfort zone and greet you and meet you, no matter who you are, where I am, or where you are. It's a hand extended in love. And it's a selfless gesture. It can be big or small. It can be a compliment, or it can be a smile. It can be something to brighten someone's day. Just feeling that gratitude if you see someone and you give them a compliment and they're like, well, thank you, because they're wearing something pretty and you want to just say, hey, I love the way that looks on you. It kind of brightens and raises up their day. We're here to uplift them. And there was an acts of kindness, they're rooted in compassion and love. And sometimes it surprises us when that moment arises, when we want to do something for someone that we never thought that we would. I was at a restaurant by myself one day, and I was eating, and I looked across the room, and there was a table of a young man, and he was with a friend of his who looked like a paraplegic. He was in a wheelchair, and he was feeding his friend and taking the time, not embarrassed at all, just taking that time to be with his friend and, feeding him and having conversation with him. And I thought, how beautiful is that? And I told my waitress, I said, you know what? I want to pay for their dinner. I just, in that moment, was such a magnificent moment of beauty that, and it was anonymous. I didn't want her to go tell them, hey, that lady just paid for you. So I paid for my dinner, and I paid for theirs, and I just left. And sometimes I like to think that anonymous gift is precious because they don't know where it's coming from, but we know that someone did something that touched us so deeply and within our heart that we were willing to act out into our own kindness and compassion, to show love. And I am sure a lot of you have been through a drive-through, maybe, and you get up like Starbucks, and you get to that window, and you're ready to hand them that bill, and someone says, you know what, that person in front of you just paid for you. And I don't know how many of you have received that, but I have. And it's just like, wow, that's really sweet that somebody thought enough to pay it forward, to give that act of kindness, to me. And it's been in a lot of different ways and kindness. My neighbor, he was so sweet. His wife was going through cancer, and he was taking care of her. He had hospice in his come in, and he took care of her the whole time. He didn't take her to the hospital or anything. So I would go up and I would visit them, and I would pray with them, and I would give them little gift cards here and there. And, just because I wanted to be there for them and just to be kind and compassionate. And the next day, there was a knock at my door, and here he was with a box of pink box donuts for me, just saying thank you. And boy, I appreciated that. It's like he knew what my favorite donut was. And I said, you didn't have to do that, but thank you anyway. And he showed me that, after everything he was going through, taking care of his wife, he went out and showed me an act of kindness. We both received and gave at the same time. And I really appreciated that. So there was another thing that happened to me last year. I worked for the school district, and I worked for Vision Services, and I worked with children who are blind and visually impaired. And I was at a school and with a little girl who was in kindergarten, and she had a best friend. And this little friend just adored my little girl that I was taking care of, who was totally blind. And out of everyone, this little girl, who was a friend, gave me a box. And in that box was this beautiful yellow bracelet. And she was so excited to give it to me. I opened it up right away, and I put it on, and I showed her, and she had the biggest smile on her face. So this year, they're in first grade now. Not in the same classroom or whatever, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to wear my bracelet, and I am going to show her, that I still have it, and I still really appreciate that gift. And so I did show it to her, and she just smiled, and that was my biggest reward, because she was so sweet to give me and the teacher a gift out of everybody. And so I thought, I'm going to show her that I still care and appreciate her for this beautiful little gift she gave me. So often acts of kindness, they're simple, they're free, they're positive, and they're healthy. And you can change someone's day, like I said, with a compliment or a smile or a helpful gesture. And I know that all of you have your own stories of how you uplifted somebody in their lives. And you have your own stories to tell. And I can't tell you how to be kinder to others because I know deep inside you know how to do that. This is not like a teaching moment, but it's a reminder that in this world we can be very kind and compassionate to everybody that we meet, even though sometimes it feels a little bit uncomfortable. But we're there to step forward and shine that light that's deep within us. Now, Ernest Holmes said, life is a mirror, and it will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks into it. Life is not just something to be endured. It is to be lived in joy, fullness, and without limit. We have so much to give that there is a power and a presence greater that we are. And it supports us in ways that we cannot even imagine. This all-knowing presence is always right where we are, even if we don't have a lot. We don't always have to give material things, money or whatever. But like I said, it can be very simple, and it's a free act of giving. And Ernest says, I believe in love. Love is at the center of everything. Therefore, I accept love as a healing power. I permit love to reach out from me to every person that I meet. I believe that love is returned to me from every person. I believe in the power of good in the universe, and love is flowing through me at every situation and every person that I meet to help every person that I contact. So what I have learned personally about kindness. There was a situation in my life that kind of I was in the deepest despair. There was something going on that was really monumental in my life. And there was this person that I met. And this person had this selfless act. They themselves, at that same time, was going through fear and doubt and uncertainty in their life. And I didn't know this person at all. And they didn't know me. But they did something for me that was so kind that I was like taken aback because it was so unexpected, even though their life was in turmoil at the same time. And it brought to me, in that moment, a sense of peace, a sense of knowing that no matter what situation somebody else is in, they were willing to offer that sense of kindness to me, and they made my situation where I was in so more peaceful that I could close my eyes and I could just pray. And they said that they felt at peace also. And it was just a beautiful experience for me to know that somebody would offer me that sense of, kindness and compassion when they themselves were in such turmoil themselves. So I also learned about kindness. Like I said, I work in the school district, and I work with this little girl who's teeny tiny, totally blind. And she is like a magnet for compassion and love, I tell you. We walk down that hallway, and everybody says, hi, how are you? And she speaks Spanish, and she speaks English. Perfect. So we hear hola, at times, and then hi. And she can talk to anybody. And I thought, I said, this little girl is just this little magnet for love. And we get in the classroom, and she has her cane, and she moves around, and sometimes she needs guiding, sighted guide. I tell you, at first, when she went into this first grade room, everybody was kind of like curious, like, who is she? What is she? What's this all about? I tell you, it was like a week in, and everybody wanted to help her, be kind to her, guide her, just be there, so gentle and kind. And it's amazing how children, they just have that inborn sense of love and kindness within them. It is so precious and beautiful. And she just projects that kindness, and she's never sorry for herself at all. She'll say, I'm blind, and I can't see. And that's it, It's like, so what? I can dance, I can move, And she's so cute because she wears all these little bracelets. And so we talk together, and she says, I'm styling, you know. I'm like, I know you are, honey. We both are. So it's just so cute and so much fun to see how, you know, they don't think of her as an oddity. They think of her with compassion and kindness. And it starts so small. And then sometimes as we get older, we get a little bit of afraid to be able to, you know, say, hey, you know, offer that person a kindness because it seems strange, and who are they and what's about them. But, you know, these little kids have so much love within them. And I really appreciate, you know, how they treat her. And she treats them with kindness too. She's always saying thank you and very gracious, and she goes into the nurse's office, and the fossa is in there, and she helped her. She had a little problem with her little finger last year, and she just, on her own, she said to the fossa, she said, Miss Francine, I really appreciate you. I mean, she's like, I love you, that, you know, and you just gotta love her. So she knows that deep within herself, you know, that she just appreciates everything. So I appreciate her, and I am so grateful for the time that I get to spend with her as her brailleist, because I do braille. And one of the little boys that was sitting at her table, he looked at me, because they're not quite sure who I am and why I'm there. But I'm there to teach her braille. But he looked at me, and he just said, you know, he said, do you go home with her? And I go, no, I don't. And, you know, he said, what's the word? He, you know, asked if I was like her protector, you know, like, am I her, you know, guard, you know, like the big celebrities have, you know. And I said, no. I said, you tell her I'm just your brailleist, you know, I'm here to help you. She said, yes, and I'm going to be a brailleist and take over her job. I said, oh. I thought, okay, good, sweetie, you will one day. I'm sure you will. She wants to be an interpreter, so. So that's what, every day I can learn more about kindness for myself from the interaction from this special little person. And I know that a gift for others is like when you're sitting next to somebody, to give them 100% of your attention. You have no agenda, you have no ego, and you listen to this person, and you just pay attention. Because so many people want their phones out and whatever. But if that's the greatest gift that anybody can give somebody, is listening and really hearing what they say, to feed that back to them. So acts of kindness have been shown to increase self-esteem and feelings of empathy and compassion. And it increases your sense of connectivity with your community and with others. And you know what? It can directly affect someone's loneliness. It can improve low mood and enhance relationships in general. You can set your own goal to be kinder to others, whatever that looks like. And remember, it is an act of courage to meet the world with a kinder perspective and go forth as an example of kindness just by being the beautiful person that you are. We cannot change the world, but we can change who we are and how we interact with the world. I just want to read one more thing. As soon as I trust myself, I will know how to live and be service to others. It starts with me. When I am more loving towards myself, I will attract more and more of a higher energy that changes what is inside of me. There's an inner voice inside that says, this is about you 100%. When I send thoughts of love and joy to myself, that it radiates outward to everyone that I meet. And it brings thoughts of joy and love. If I am that center place of love, that is what I can give away to others. I will find myself purposeful if I can find ways to be in service. Purpose is about serving. It is about taking the focus off of ourselves and on somebody else. I listen and I'm present. And when I do, a space is created to allow the gifts that are within me to flow outward to others who are in need. They are in need, to reach out a hand to them. It is nothing I will discuss with others because I don't need that validation. It is a gift to listen and to be present. It is not about, here I am out in the open to be seen. This is a quiet place to celebrate being a difference in someone else's life. So thank you. Now I'm asking the practitioners to surround the room, and we will go into prayer. My beloved practitioners who support me every day. So we can just breathe into this moment and close our eyes. And feel that presence of God, the powerful, the beauty and the love and the wisdom, the unfolding grace that surround us at every moment. God is all there is. And I know that we are birthed out of this universal womb of love, unlimited. For there is that divine right action and that intelligence, the presence, the power, the grace. It is that infinite divine presence surrounding all of its creation. And I know for myself that I am this presence, that God is within me at every moment. And as I know this for myself, I know this for everyone here present. And know that we are all that unique, creative experience of God living in this moment and this time. So I know and I can affirm as we go out into this world, we can reach out our hands in kindness, in love, knowing that God is right where we are, and we are that light, that lantern of love that radiates outward to everyone that we meet. We connect with a smile. We connect with a compliment or a hand out, reached in compassion and love. We are the center of love, and every act of kindness is rewarded to the receiver and the recipient. And I am so grateful that we have this knowing within ourselves that we are brave and courageous and not afraid to reach out and to offer an act of kindness. So right now I can just simply say thank you so much. As I release this prayer into the loving action of law, knowing that as it is said, it vibrates out into the universe. It is done, it is complete, and so it is.